Hey ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for another video. We're back out in the rabbit coop. Bunny swap is done as per norm, and we're ready to get back to work again. Last video we left off with the cages mostly divided in. There was just one surface here on the last one that needs to be covered over. So I'm going to get that done, put up a bit of plywood, and then we'll get into making some doors, which is pretty much one of the final stages for these cages. And once those doors are done and hung, then we can move some bunnies in. So that's the point we're at now. It's a beautiful day outside, a little bit of wind here and there. Nothing out of the normal, but temperatures somewhere around 7 degrees Celsius, but the wind, is making it into sweater weather. So we'll make do, get some work done. Hopefully by the end of this video, these cages will be done. All right, fingers crossed on that. That's my goal anyways. Hopefully it pans out and we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to head outside, get my tools and everything all set up. I got the miter saw brought up here today, so I'll get that set up as well and start off with that plywood on the final cage. So there we are. All the cages are now sealed in and fully divided, and the insulation is fully covered in. So at this point in time, I'm going to start making doors. I've done measurements of these openings already, and these are going to be some big doors. All right, my wife kind of pointed it out to me the other day, and it's true. Like, if I'm doing full-size doors for these openings, you know, like one of these measurements is 32 3/4 by 30 1/4. So you're talking almost 3 feet by 3 feet doors, or 2.5 feet by 2.5 feet. So they are going to be big doors, which is fine. It's just that given an 8-foot space that I have here from side to side, and the rabbit house down in the garage, which has to come up, is 2 feet plus a bit, and then this is 3 feet, so that's 5 of my 8 gone already, which leaves about a 3-foot walking space or a 3-foot door opening space, right? So these things will probably just barely clear, if they clear at all, the rabbit house when they're open. But that's something I'm willing to do for now. If it becomes a problem later, then I'll come back and I'll revisit it and frame the doors in a little bit tighter and make smaller doors. But as for now, I'm just going to get a nice big wide open doors, easy to work through, easy to maintain, and handle the bunnies and stuff with, and we'll just see how that works out. All right, as I've said before, it's kind of an evolution of how things are going, and trial and error, and work on it as we go. So I got my measurements for the doors. I'm going to head on it to the miter saw now, make some cuts, and start assembling some doors. So come along, enjoy a bit of music, and we'll come back and hopefully have some doors we can fit on nicely. Here we go. Alright, so that's the first door put together, and if you couldn't tell, I'm getting absolutely demolished by the black flies out there right now. So hopefully this fits in, which it does. And it looks good. Once there's hinges on that, we should have a good gap all the way around. Alright, so I'm pleased with that. A little bit of a gap down the corner here. I had a few little mishaps with the screws and stripping out and stuff, but overall everything is braced in there just fine, and everything else turned out great, and it fits. That's the main thing. Okay, so this door is done, other than some mesh. And I can get that hung. Measurements turned out great, like I say. So I'll leave this one here. So I'm going to go ahead, now that I know that my tolerances in my measurements were good, I'm going to continue and just cut the wood for the other 3 doors. And I may go down in the garage to assemble those 3 doors, just so that I don't get absolutely destroyed by those black flies, because they are swarming. Right, I started off with a cool morning and now it's a beautiful day and the flies are all coming out. So I'd rather go in the garage away from the flies to do the final assembly, not be rushing on these doors, get them as nice as I can. And so we'll see about that. We'll probably head down to the garage. But for now I'm going to get all my cut list done. So that's 12 more pieces to cut, and that'll be 3 doors worth. And we'll head down to the garage and put them together. Alright, so at this point in time I got my cuts done and I'm going to make a hasty retreat from these black flies because they are mauling me. It's crazy. So I got all my cuts done, I'm going. Alright, so we've made the great escape from the black flies, set up here in the garage again here now. I'd much rather be working out in the nice sun, and the heat is coming on now, so I could have got rid of this sweater, but no such luck up to this point. Those black flies were way too crazy. So I've made a safe retreat, and here is the rabbit house roof, which is going to double again as an assembly station. So I got all my wood cuts. I'm just going to get right to assembly now. I got 3 doors to make, and I'll probably just trust my measurements on this and put the hardware cloth and everything on them. They should fit just fine, but maybe in between takes off camera I may run up to the coop and just test the doors. I don't need to bother you guys with that. Just know that by the end of this section we should have 4 functional ready to install doors, and we'll go from there, get them installed, door hardware on, and we'll be in business. Alright, so follow along, start assembly, and be right back with you after this little interlude. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so that is the last one with the mesh put on. I'm going to put them in the cart now. Let's head up to the coop, get the doors put on, and see how it turned out. I do have some mismatching hinges though, so we'll probably have to swap them out at a later time, but as for now I got 3 matching sets and 1 off color. So let's head up to the coop now, put some doors on, and see how it turned out. So here we are back at the rabbit coop again. Hopefully the flies stay away for now. Knock on wood. Alright, so I'm going to begin by trying to do it a little bit easier and mounting half of the hinge holes without the door in place. So I can kind of put the hinges where I want them, then I'll get the door where I want it to, and then sink the screws into the door. That's what I'm hoping is going to work. So I may or may not just eyeball this. I want these doors to open this way and these doors to open that way. So figuring I'll start off around here, and I'm lining up the pivot point with the gap that's going to be between the door. And one way to do that is actually to flap the hinge on a 90 and let it wrap right around the 2x4, and then I'll sink a screw home there. And that should give it enough clearance to be able to fully move through its range of motion. Okay, like that. Alright, so then, like I say, that one will move fine there. Next one I'll do somewhere about the same, which is what, 1.5 inches up from the bottom. I'm not being too crazy precise if you couldn't tell. 1.5 there. Alright, so that one is ready to accept the door. Do the same thing now on the other middle one. Alright, so I got 3 sets of hinges up so far right now, and the other set is a mismatch set, but I may actually use them as a shim as I go along instead of a piece of wood. I'll see. But I'm going to start putting up the first 3 doors. I think that's a good spot to start. So I'll just bring you guys back a little bit more perspective on the whole thing. Hopefully this goes well, and hopefully when I come back to speak with you again, we'll have 3 doors hung. Let's go. Alright, so time to get the final door put on here now. And we will be in business. So I'm going to do the same thing, put the hinges on first, and then the door will be after the fact. And these hinges will likely be replaced when I get more like the other ones, but they will do what's needed for now. Alright, and just like that, the cages are ready. With the exception of some food and water, these are ready for bunnies. So I'm going to take care of that last requirement real quick. I'm going to move some feeders and waters off of the rabbit house and up onto these while I wait to buy some more or order some more to equip both stations. But for now, I got the ground level for whatever I need to put down there, whether it's the bucks or the does, and I got cages ready for the other ones. So I'll probably move the bucks up here, get them out of the rabbit house in the garage. The does can probably get by on the ground for a while, but for the most part I'm just going to get these equipped with some water and feed, and we'll see what kind of result we end up with, what we put in these cages for tonight. Alright, so stand by. I'll be right back and we'll get some feed and water put on these. Alright, so what I have here is the 5-inch automatic feeders from Pet Lodge, chew and rust resistant. Anyways, like I say, it's the 5-inch version, and this is what I had installed on the rabbit house already. So I already know that in this hardware cloth that I have here is 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch, I think. Could be 1/4 inch, I'm not sure offhand. But anyways, I know 11 blocks wide by 5 blocks high is what it takes to fit this portion of the feeder inside the cage. So I'm just going to trim that off of the last one there now, and put it right down flush with the bottom of the cage so small bunnies can get up high enough to feed from it. I'll lay that in here for now while I snip the hardware cloth. There we are, that's the first one trimmed. I'm going to see if I can get that to fit in there. Might need a little bit of tidying up, we'll see. No, that fits in there just fine. And the little arms go down and attach on. There, that one is secured and ready for action. Alright, so I'll proceed on and mount the other two that I have here. Alright, so at this point in time, the feeders are done. Time for some water. Now I only got 3 water bottles at this point in time, so I can't fully equip all 4 cages with a sip and go water type of thing. But for a short period of time I can put a bowl of water in there, which will get them over the hump. And that's probably what I'll do for tonight, or a small water, poultry water. And that'll do the trick for one night, just to be able to use all the cages tonight, because they all got feed at this point in time. 3 of them's going to have water, so it's only one off, and I'm sure one of the bucks will probably be able to get by with a little waterer for one night, and we'll take care of the rest of it tomorrow. So I'm going to go down and get the waterers now. We'll get that set up, and then we should be ready for a little move to happen here. Alright, so I'm back here with all these waterers. So we'll try to get these set up here now. I just need to lay them down. Alright, so basically the idea with these is to find a spot on the door, somewhere on the cage you want to put it. I'm going to have it anywhere really. We got lots of real estate here for placing a waterer. So I'm just going to put it near the food and away from the opening. Now if I can get these untangled here. Alright, so it's a little hanger comes with it, and that just helps support the weight of the neck. So you pretty much put your water, I like to put it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put it on slot number 6. Not that it really matters. It's just a generic placement. Put on the little hanger so that it supports the weight of the bottle. I'm going to move it up and down as needed. Alright, and so you're going to find where that little hanger is positioned well to support the weight of the bottle. Alright, but like I say, ideally you kind of want this bottle to be flat up against the cage. So I could probably go up another slot. That keeps it nice and straight there. And then they come with a coil spring which goes around the divot in the bottle and attaches on one side of the cage at that level, wraps around, and clips onto the cage on the other side as well. Right about there you go. From that point, that is secured. Alright. So we got food, we got water, all is well. So I'm going to go ahead and mount those other 2 bottles here now. I'm going to cover the middle one for sure. And I'm just going to duplicate exact positioning of this just for niceness of symmetry. And then I'll choose one of the buck cages as well. So set you guys up, just get that done real quick. And I got some little squares of plywood I'm going to put in each of the cages as a little resting platform, just in the case that they're not used to the mesh under their feet. They can have a little break from it as they get used to it. But this mesh should not hurt their hocks that much, so we should be good there. But I will give them a little resting platform. And from that point on, I think I know how we're going to lay everything out with what bunnies are going to go where. So we'll come back after this and do the move. Alright everybody, so water is on, feed is on, we are ready to do the move. I got here some plywood resting planks as well, so the bunnies can get on and off of those as they get used to the mesh. So I'll put some of those in, and I got some bunnies here that are going to go in cages. And we got some nice painted bottoms on some of these. So I'll put these resting planks, nice little heart on this one, in there. And as the bunnies get used to the mesh, these can either come out or get smaller, but that'll pretty much finish setting up each of the cages. Okay, so I'll get a couple more. Nice little rainbow on that one. And we got another rainbow on there. Alright, and two left, one for each buck cage. Let's put one in here. So, and one over here. There we have it. So, at this point in time, I am ready to move the bunnies into the cages. So I'll show you that now. I already got a couple of bunnies here just outside the door, and we'll aim you guys at the cage, and you'll see which ones I have. First cage, this is, as I've said in the past, is a buck cage. Water, feed, ready to go. Well, the contender for this cage is going to be Cookie. Alright, Cookie's always been one of our favorites. Awesome temperament, beautiful colors, good buck all around. So he's going to get the little preferential cage for now with the water already set up. Okay. Alright, so in he goes to try out his new cage. Now, I'll turn you guys this way, and we got the next buck. Alright, so on to the next buck cage. We have Summer. Alright, you haven't seen Summer in a while, I'm sure. Same with Cookie. But another beautiful buck. Beautiful colors, awesome temperament. So he's going to be all set up in his new cage. We'll get him put in. Alright, new experience for that boy. And he's over onto the plywood resting pad already. I'm sure they enjoy that. Alright, I have two done. I gotta go get some more bunnies. We'll be right back. Alright, so I kind of condensed two trips into one. I got all four bunnies in this carrier here now. So as I've said in the past, the does are going in the middle one, so I'm going to do 2 and 2 and get them put in there. So this side I will do hot chocolate and lemon. There. Now let's move over to the next cage, and I'll put in the 2 whites. Okay, we'll get this one opened up. There's one. There is 2. Alright, so it's taken them a little while to get used to the mesh. That's to be expected. But overall, yeah, Cookie's in on his resting board. The does have found a resting board in there. Summer's just having a good look around. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bunnies in 4 cages. Leaves one, right? That's Smokey. Smokey, I'm going to leave him down on the ground, let him enjoy a ground setting for a little while. He's never had that. So I'll give him a little bit of time on the ground. I'll put the regular poultry water in here, and he'll just get to enjoy some ground for a bit. But that's not anything that I'm going to film, because I am done for the day. So happy to have these in action. I got to get some water now for summer, and I'll get Smokey up here on the ground and relaxing. So that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully now, next video we'll probably start trying to get towards the breeding program. Really looking forward to getting started on that, and let the bunnies get used to their new cages. So until that next video happens, hope you're happy, hope you're healthy, take care of each other, and peace out.